Good morning, church. It's good to see you. I'm glad that you're starting your day here on the Daily Word with me. I'm Pastor Jennifer, one of the ministers here at MDUMC, and we continue this week talking about the question that is based off of our current sermon series. Our current sermon series is Lies I've Loved, and it's inspired by a couple of different books. One of them is Adam Hamilton's Half-Truths. Another one is this wonderful book, Everything Happens for a Reason, and Other Lies I've Loved by Kate Bowler. So in the spirit of that, your pastors are discussing on the Daily Word books that have influenced them and been formative in our faith journey. So I'm going to skip the good Christian answer of the Bible, because of course that's a formative book for all of us. I'm even going to gloss over the good Methodist answer of the hymnal, which I have discussed a few times in the Daily Word over the course of the last 6 months. The book that I want to talk about with you today is sort of a surprise pick. Now I want to say it's extremely hard for me to narrow down one book to share with you for this question. I have, if you were to visit my home, what you would call a literature-rich household. We have books everywhere. My office is really no different. I love books. I wish that I had more time to read and or could read faster. But I do love books because of the way that they inspire us to grow and to gain new ideas and understanding, and the ways that they inform us about God. Anyhow, back to the book. All right. So way back, early in my faith journey, I was in high school, and this book, I vividly recall it being thrust into my hands by my youth director, a wonderful woman. And the circumstances of this book being passed on to me was that a good friend of mine was starting to make some decisions that were going to lead her down a harmful path. So this book, The Bondage Breaker, by Neil Anderson, was highly influential for me. It's a book about spiritual warfare, which is not something that we talk about very often in our mainline Protestant denomination. We don't talk about the problem of evil very often at all. But this book, I read it, underlined it. It really made real to me how this pursuit of faith, this practice of Christianity, and this dedication that we give when we commit to Christ has real implications for how we live and for what a difference we can make in the world. And so while I haven't read this book in literally decades, and really actually don't know much about the author, this book was hugely formative for me because it was one of the first religious books, faith-based books that I read apart from the Bible. And so it really opened my eyes to the power of believers to counteract the forces of evil in this world. And to circle back around to the United Methodist hymnal, when I think about the impact this book had for me in my life early on in the faith, I also think about the baptismal vows that we make anytime we're celebrating a baptism. And the parents or whomever is coming forward, or the person who is going to be baptized, they're asked the question, do you resist the forces of evil and injustice in the world in whatever form they present themselves? And the answer is that we do. We recognize that as Christians, we have the power to stand up against the things that we see that are wrong. We have the power to pray and to intercede and to stand in the gap for people. And that is a huge privilege, a gift, and responsibility that we have. So this book, The Bondage Breaker, perhaps I'll pick it up again and refresh my thoughts on what this was. I may think differently than I did when I read this 20-something years ago. But there might be parts that still hit home for me and that still remind me of the power of faith. I'm glad that you joined me today. Thanks for listening to a little bit of my story. And we would love to hear what books have been formative and influential for you in your faith journey. So comment below or send us an email. Blessings to you on your day. Bye-bye.